All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a super simple but really powerful framework that can help you finally take control of your money, get out of debt for good, and actually start building real wealth. And this is all inspired by the journey of financial mentor Nisha Shah. So, here's what we're going to cover. We have 5 key sections. We're going to kick things off with the biggest mental block that holds so many people back. And then I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step plan to build a rock-solid financial future. First up, let's get real about the number one reason a lot of us just don't deal with our money. Hint, it's not about the math. It's about a feeling that keeps us stuck. Come on, you know the feeling, that little pit in your stomach when you know you probably shouldn't check your bank balance, or when you let the mail pile up because you just don't want to open the bills. Yeah, if you've been there, you are definitely not alone. It's a totally human thing to do. There's actually a name for this. It's called the ostrich effect. It's this funny little quirk in our brains where we think, hey, if I just don't look at the problem, maybe it'll go away. But we all know it doesn't. And it's this exact habit of avoidance that keeps people trapped in a cycle of financial stress. This really hit home for Nisha Shah when she saw her own mentor, a guy in a high-powered banking job, get fired out of the blue. That was a huge wake-up call, and it summed up perfectly in this quote. It made her realize that a job, no matter how good it is, doesn't equal real security. At the end of the day, you have to be the one in the driver's seat of your own life. Okay, so how do we actually build that control, that foundation? Well, once you make the decision to stop being the ostrich and start taking action, here is your 3-step path to creating a real financial safety net. This right here is the exact roadmap to go from feeling anxious about money to feeling totally secure. Look, it's not about getting rich overnight. It's about building stability step by step. So let's break down each one. Step 1. The very first goal is not about some crazy math equation. It's all about psychology. All you have to do is save up 1 month of your essential living costs. We're talking rent, bills, food. That's it. This gives you a small but mighty cushion for when life throws you a curveball, like a flat tire or a leaky faucet. And get this, the impact of just doing this one thing is huge. By saving that single month of expenses, you immediately put yourself in a better financial spot than over half the country. I mean, what a massive psychological win right out of the gates. Now, step 2 is absolutely critical. You have got to stop the financial bleeding. Trying to build up your savings when you're carrying high-interest credit card debt, it's like pouring water into a bucket that's just full of holes. I mean, look at the numbers. The math is just killing you. The goal here is to get aggressive and attack any debt with an interest rate over, say, 8%. Start with the highest one first and knock it out. And that brings us to the power of step 3, building your full emergency buffer. This research from Vanguard is just wow. It shows that having 3 to 6 months of your living expenses saved up gives you this incredible sense of psychological security, that feeling of being able to breathe, which is apparently more valuable for our happiness than earning a massive salary. Isn't that wild? All right, so once you have that solid foundation of security locked in, it is time to make a really important shift in how you think about money. We're moving from just saving your money to actively growing your money for the long haul. And let's just be super clear about this. You cannot save your way to retirement. It's just not possible anymore. With inflation and the cost of everything going up, any money you just have sitting in a regular savings account is actually losing value over time. Saving is for the short-term stuff, for emergencies. Investing, that's how you build real long-term wealth. And this really all boils down to what your long-term goal is. Nisha Shah tells this fantastic story about 2 guys she used to work with. One of them, he was all about chasing status. He had the Ferrari, always went to fancy dinners, but he was basically on a hamster wheel spending everything he made. The other guy, her mentor Phil, he was chasing freedom. He packed his lunch every day and quietly invested his money. And guess what? He retired super early to go do what he loved. Look, neither way is wrong, but it's such a powerful illustration that every single financial choice is a trade-off between status today and freedom tomorrow. And you know what? Getting started with investing is way easier than people think. For most of us, there are two really simple, really powerful ways to begin. First, you absolutely have to check if your job offers a retirement plan, especially if they match what you put in. That is literally free money. Don't leave it on the table. Second, open your own tax-advantaged account like a Roth IRA. The key is just to keep it simple at the beginning. You don't need to be a stock-picking genius. Broad market index funds are an amazing way to get started. Okay, so you've got your foundation, you've started investing. Now we need the practical tool that ties it all together, something that makes managing your money a simple habit you can repeat with every single paycheck. Meet the 65-20-15 rule. I love this because it's such a great, simple benchmark for splitting your take-home pay. And look, this is not about depriving yourself, not at all. It's about being intentional and making a conscious choice about where your money is going so you can cover your life now, have some fun, and take care of your future self. So here's how it breaks down. 65% of your take-home pay goes to your essentials. These are the things you absolutely have to pay to live. Then 20% is your fun fund. And this part is so important. This is guilt-free spending on whatever brings you joy. You need this part to avoid burnout and make the whole plan something you can actually stick with. And finally, that last disciplined 15%, that goes to future you. You use this to pay yourself first by killing debt, building up savings, and of course, investing. And finally, let's talk about a mindset shift that will completely change how you look at every single dollar you spend. It's about learning to see not just what your money can buy you today, but what it could become for you tomorrow. And this big idea is called opportunity cost. Put simply, it just means that every dollar you decide to spend today is a dollar you can't invest for your future. It's the invisible trade-off that's happening with every single purchase you make. Okay, let's make this really concrete. Let's say you're thinking about taking your team out for a $100 lunch. Seems like a nice thing to do, right? No big deal. But here is the opportunity cost. If you took that same $100 and invested instead, assuming an average market return over 40 years, it could grow to over $4,500. That's the mind-blowing power of compound growth. Now, the point isn't to never buy lunch again, of course not. It's just about being aware of the powerful long-term trade-off you're making every time you spend. So, to wrap it all up, the big takeaway here is this clear 5-part strategy. We started by beating that ostrich effect, then we built a solid foundation, put a simple budget in place, and finally, adopted a powerful long-term mindset. This is the exact path to go from feeling totally trapped by your finances to feeling empowered and completely in control. Because at the end of the day, this whole framework isn't about restriction. It's about giving you the power to choose. So we'll leave you with this final thought. Knowing what you know now about trade-offs and the true cost of things, what's one small choice, one little trade-off you can make this week to invest in the future you really want?